Hey, day 5. Let's go for a walk. Actually, I'm already walking. I was kind of unhappy with the way the first recording turned out, so I'm walking farther just so that I can redo this in hopefully a more concise manner. So we're talking about Abraham, the father of the faith, and now he kind of just took baby steps towards faith. Baby steps of trust, baby steps of obeying. But his walk with God was far from stable or strong for all that he's called the father of the faith. God called him, said, I'll bless those who bless you, curse those who curse you, I'll take care of you. Just come to the land that I have for you. And so Abraham went to Canaan. He brought his wife and his nephew with him and their household. He wasn't there for very long though, because there was a drought. And Abraham didn't think to check with God. He just kind of up and left. Moved to Egypt. Not a good move. But he knew that Egypt could be trouble because his wife was a beautiful woman. He said, you know what? People are going to kill me to get you. So if anyone asks, just tell them you're my sister. That'll work. So she's like, oh, okay. And they get to Egypt. And in Egypt, there's a guy, the king there. He's called the Pharaoh. He saw this beautiful woman. He's like, wow, who's that? And Abraham's like, oh, that's my sister. At which point the Pharaoh's like, your sister, huh? I need a wife. How much? And Abraham's like, what? And the Pharaoh's like, how much for your sister to be my wife? And so Abraham, feeling trapped, sells his wife to the Pharaoh. The story goes that God stepped in and said, no, this isn't going to happen. And he inflicted a plague on all the people in the royal house there. The ancient rabbis say it was a STD infected all of the court, so that the king was never able to consummate his marriage with Sarah, which worked out well for her. The Pharaoh and the court, though, realized that something was wrong, and they traced it to this new girl being admitted to the harem. They went to Abraham and said, what's up? And they found out the truth. And the Pharaoh, understandably upset, threw them out of the country. Now, you'd think that this kind of thing would strengthen their walk. They would be completely impressed by the way that God took care of them. And Abraham would be totally reliant on God after something like that. But it's not what happened. In fact, a couple of years later, they were out traveling again, went near a kingdom called Gerar. And again, Abraham said to Sarah, look, you're too pretty. The guys around here, they're going to kill me to get to you. So if anyone asks, you're my sister. At which point, the king of Gerar came to Abraham and said, hey, I hear you're traveling with a beautiful woman. Who is that? And Abraham said, it's my sister. At which point the king, just like that other king before, said, yeah, how much? And Abraham, once again, found himself trapped by his own deception. When you decide to walk in your own path rather than God's path, you get yourself into these little jams pretty frequently. Now, in this particular case, God spoke to Abraham. I'm sorry, not Abraham. He spoke to the king in a dream and let the king know what was going on. And the king was very apologetic, gave her back to Abraham, and so be it. But what's the point of this long story? It's probably what you're asking yourself about now. The point is, you gotta pay attention to your walk. It can become pretty clear that you're heading on the wrong path, especially if it's a wrong path that you've been down before. You should be able to see that and stop and change directions. They say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Well, looking for a different outcome. And maybe that's true. But what's definitely true is if you pay attention to where you're walking, you're going to know when you go wrong. Grace and peace to y'all. I got to finish my walk.